Hey everybody, welcome to part 12 of building the Enterprise D from Eagle Moss and Hero Collector. Now in this video we are going to be covering stages 43, 44, 45, and 46. Now there are a lot of things that we are going to be doing in these stages. We're going to be finally capping off the little pieces on the neck that have the screw holes and stuff like that, so that'll be cool. I think those are the final strips that we'll be adding to that. We're getting a new PC board. This is great. So this is going to be for the saucer, more lights that we can plug into there. The original board has a jumper on it, which will plug into this one. More panels here. I need to discuss this piece right here. I can't wait till we get to stage 45 because I need to discuss that. Let me see. We also have some diffusers for the nacelles. I need to talk about those as well. And then over here we have another electronic circuit. This is the light bar for the nacelle. So yeah, lots to do in here, and well, let's get started. Here is magazine 12. More parts here that just shows where the parts come with these. So yeah, we're going to be trying to finish up that saucer section since I had to deviate from the instructions here. Now this is the one I think a lot of people are having problems with because you're trying to squeeze this metal plate into here. So I'm really glad we did not put these panels on yet. I'm hoping that that's going to work out just fine. Some final touches on the neck. Panels, of course. Jeez. I'll be so glad to get done with this saucer. Here's another, that's that board we're going to be putting in there, a second PC board for the lighting. Getting quite a bit of panels done on this saucer by this point. I'm going to have to do some modifications to this piece, and I'll explain when we get to that point. But yeah, I'll talk about that when we get to there. All right, well, oh, I love this episode, The Survivors. That's probably one of my favorite episodes because the reveal at the end is pretty cool and kind of shocking. At least for me, it was shocking. But of course, that was back in 1987 or whatever year that came out. But yeah, really good episode. Absolutely loved it. Oh, this was another good one. Who Watches the Watchers? Yeah, it's pretty neat. Kind of makes you wonder if the aliens coming down to visit us in UFOs, they can't interfere with our society for the same reason that that they explain in that episode. The bonding, that episode was okay. I didn't really care for it. This kid would later show up in RoboCop playing a completely different role. Pretty funny. This one was good, Booby Trap. I really enjoyed that one as well. This girl did a really good job playing Leah Brahms. And The Enemy. I'd have to watch this one again to remember. Oh, I think that's the one where Worf could give him a blood transfusion or something, and he refused or something. I can't remember. That was a good one as well. This one here, I didn't really care for. The price, I don't know. Some episodes, at least for me, were kind of not that great, but most of them were excellent. Here are the parts that we get for stage 43. So this is a nice metal panel right here. A set of windows again. Some BM screws, some EM screws, some lights. Here's some more of those little plugs that we use on the neck. We're going to be doing some more work. I think we're going to finally finish up the neck completely at this point. Here's another one of these little things that covers the screw holes, as well as these two pieces here. And then we got a couple of more of these transporter emitters. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so now we are bringing the saucer back out now. So this is the metal panel that we just got. I already put the windows in place right here. And then these are the lights that come with these. So now these are going to go, let's see, let me make sure I'm lacing these through properly. So actually, yeah, we're just going to put these through here. And then get this through. Let me just pull this through here. All right, now we're going to have to put that metal plate on, but before we do, we got to put these lights in here. So let me see here. Put this right in this spot. Kind of press it in place. Don't think I had that in all the way to kind of push them in. And then this one here, same thing in this spot. All right, now I got to flip this over, so let me do that. All right, so now this is the part that I was trying to avoid any issues with. So as mentioned previously, these panels would have already been put on around stage 35 or 36, and then everybody was having a hard time getting this panel in because now they're smashing it between these panels and the ones over here. So since we don't have those on, this should go on easier. Famous last words, right? So this is going to go right in here, and now this is going to be holding on the LEDs that we just put in. So now let me get this all lined up, and it's going to be 6 BM and 4 EM screws to put all of that together. So let me show you what that looks like when it's all done. All right, so that is now in place. It went in nice and easy. I didn't have to fight with that. Let me flip this over real quick. And this is what it looks like now from the other side. So I think we are now ready to put these panels on that we were originally supposed to start back on stage 35. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so now this is a panel that we made back in stage 35, and they had originally told us to put it here before we put all this on. And then we already assembled this one back in stage 35 as well. And that's gonna go, so this will go here, this will go right on here. I gotta put some more escape pods in here. And then we're gonna attach all of this. So I'm gonna start with this panel first, and then hopefully this one will fit without too much trouble since there's not really anything holding it. All right, so let's go and start with this one right here. Okay, so now we're gonna put this in here. Now, originally in the instructions, they told you to go put this piece through this hole right here, but that's actually covered now by this, but that's no problem because it actually works out better going through this hole, which is oftentimes the case with this thing, because the wires aren't going to be so smashed. It seems like they are obsessed with making sure the wires are smashed in here. Okay, so this got to go in here, so does this LED. That's got to go through here as well. And let me get this pulled through, like this, so that the whole thing kind of goes in there. All right, and then, let's see. Let me get this whole wire in here. All right, and then let's see, we got the yellow wire now, the yellow and black, I should say. This LED has got to come back around. Let's see, does it go around the top? Yeah, it goes around the top right here. All right, and then that goes in this slot right back here. Oh, is it the side one here? Yeah, this one. Okay. So let me put that in here. You have to spread this out a little bit to make that fit. There we go. All right, now I think, let's see, what kind of screws are we using on this? I think they're DPs. So let me flip this around and screw it together, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so that is now all in place right here. So now we're going to break out this L-shaped piece. Now I did put the lifeboats or the escape pods in there. So now this, let's see, which way does this wire go? That's going to go through this loop right here. So it's going to go underneath that. And then it comes out. Let's see, which way do they have it actually? Oh, actually, no, it comes out this way because it fits up higher than it looks. Okay, so that's going to go like this. And let me bring that other LED through as well. This red and blue wired one. And man, these wires, I'm telling you, talk about craziness here. Let me split this a little more so I got a little more room to work with. All right, now this LED, let's see, goes over, it just stays on this side. So that LED's got to go in this little pocket right here. Let me see if I can reach under and kind of tuck it in. Let me see. Just want to make sure that's in all the way. Okay, very good. Now, let's see, this whole thing is going to go right in here. Okay, and then we're going to fasten this right like this, match up all the holes. It's going to use quite a bit of screws. It uses 6 BM and 2 DP. So let me get all this put together and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so something I need to point out here. When you look at the instructions and you put this panel on, notice these wires, the yellow and black wires right in here. So they just kind of show it kind of going under this frame piece right there. Well, when you put the other panel on, those wires have to be really smashed against that original panel. So I'll show you what I mean right here. Here's that panel. There's the black and yellow wire. I had to really smash this up against this side here, because when you put this panel on, the L-shaped one, it's got that reflector right there, and it's going to catch if the wire is sticking out too much. So you got to make sure that that is pushed in as far as you can get it. Otherwise, this corner is going to stick up. And even then, it still sticks up just a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad once I figured out what was causing the problem of that. So do not let the black and yellow wire here, don't let it stick out over that little piece of the frame right here. Make sure, I took a screwdriver, and make sure you don't, puncture the wire or anything, but I just kind of pushed this in like this, just kept pushing it closer. It can go in here because there's a little bit of space for that, but there is no space in here, so really push that in. All right, now let's try to put that panel on. Okay, so now everything is finally all in place here. That was a bit of a struggle, but it was only because of that wire right there that I showed you. So now, if you look closely, see how it's down inside that little trough? That's what you got to do. Otherwise, it's going to get caught on this reflector piece. But yeah, that was really sneaky right there. I mean, it took me a while to figure out why that corner wasn't sitting flush, but that was the reason. And here's the other side of it, so we can see it's all put together now. So yes, that was definitely an easier way to do this. So in stage 35, where they tell you to start putting these panels on first, avoid that. Go wait till you get to stage. Go ahead and build these panels. It's these two here and this L-shaped one. Wait till you get to stage 45 or 42 or something like that, somewhere in there, when you build this one and this one. So you'll put this one on for, okay, so don't put these on. Put this one on first, put this one on next, then put the metal one on. And then from there, you can put this one on and then put the L one on last. That'll save you a whole lot of trouble of trying to fight with this. This is the one everybody was having a hard time getting in, and I think this one too. But so by doing it this way, you're not bending things and breaking stuff. And also the panels are in there nice and straight. All right, finally, I can move on to the next step. Okay, working back on the neck here now, we're just going to put some more finishing touches on here. There's another transporter emitter that fits right there, so we have the piece right here. Now, I was noticing, here, let me zoom in on this. If you look closely, you will notice that these corners right here have a little bit of a flat edge right here, while these ones are just rounded. And if you look at this piece, same thing, flat edge, and then this side is rounded. So make sure you put it on the right way so that it fits as proper as it can. Okay, so let me peel this backing tape off here. So let me see, that is the one that's got the corners on it. So let me get this arranged here and just kind of get this in the corner like that and press it down. The curvature of this whole neck section kind of makes these pieces, I'm not sure how good this stuff is going to stick over the years. Like, is this going to pop back off later? That one actually fit pretty good. But we have another one that goes on this spot here, and that one, I was kind of test fitting it. It doesn't quite, it's got a kind of a strange bend to it. Here, let me turn it this way. Where it doesn't fit quite flush on here. So I think I'm going to have to put a little bit of glue in here just to make sure it stays in place. So I think I will put a little bit of Gorilla Glue on there because I don't want that popping off later. All right, so I just put a few drops of glue on here just to kind of help make this stick a little better. So let's put this on. Line it up. Okay. Of course, it's got a slip off there. Okay. Yeah, it's got a weird curve right in here. So you can see how that sticks up just a little bit on this end. So let me hold this for a couple of minutes and then hopefully that'll fix that. Okay, yeah, I'm not really too impressed with the way these pieces fit on here. It's just got a weird curve to it and the pieces don't match up to it. I mean, you can see even this one, the original one's got a gap right in here. So yeah, I don't know. I think they could have done better with that piece. All right, let's see. Next, we're going to put on another one of these transporter emitters right here. So let's go and get this one ready to go. And let me see. I think it goes this way. It's got a slight angle to it. Let me see. It should go like that. See if I can get a hold of this. Okay. Okay. These have a slight bit of, just a little bump of flash right there that might interfere with the fit just a little bit. You may have to shim that down a little bit. That's what I ended up doing, just to shave a little bit off. Okay, so we'll put that in. And then next we have this curved piece that goes right on here. Let's see, that goes this way. Now, got to match up these pins into the holes here again, just like the last side. Let's see if we can try to get this on here right. Okay, let me see. There we go. Press fit it in. I think they probably should have done something like that with, well, not so much that one, but these pieces here. They should have done something similar with this. Just made it a thicker piece that clips in like that. And then the last piece here is this one. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out the best angle to do this. See, I guess we just put it right on here. And match up those holes again. Oh, okay, actually that one went in. That one went in the easiest of all of them. All right, good. You have to use the nail of your finger just to push it in. Just don't scratch the piece. All right, very good. Well, at least we got that done. Okay, on to the next step. These are the parts that we get for stage 44. So we have a nice metal pie wedge piece right there. A couple of reflectors that are going to go kind of like, I think, in an L shape sort of configuration back there. Some lights, DM screws, BM screws, windows, of course. A couple more of the lifeboats or escape pods. These pieces are cool. Now, I think this will finally finish off the neck. These are the parts that go on the side of the neck near the top, and they actually have Enterprise nice and crisply printed on there. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this thing built, put the lights and everything in it, and then I'll have the lights hooked up, and we'll see what that looks like. And there it is, all assembled now. That's how the back of it looks. And the lights are working, as you can see there. Just a few windows on there. All right, so now we're going to install this on the saucer. Okay, so looking back at the saucer now, this piece is going to go right in here. Now, once again, we got these tabs. Now, I think this is going to end up being kind of a difficult piece to put on. I can just feel the tension of trying to get that in there. If you go this way, then that one has a hard time on this end. So I'll have to kind of finagle. Oh, well, actually, there it goes. All right, and then there's always this tension like this. You got to figure out what's causing that. All right, so anyway, let me get it all fastened on and we'll take a look at it. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe how much trouble I had getting that triangular piece on. I'm not kidding you. I've worked on that for probably 3 hours. As you saw, there was some tension on here and I could not get that to go down. Then I discovered there's a wire that is coming. It kind of does a U-turn from this LED over here that was sticking out, but it blended in with the frame. And so I didn't see it, and that was keeping it from going in. So I had to take a flathead screwdriver and really smash that wire into that underneath that panel right here. And then it still wouldn't fit, and I could not figure out what was going on. So you know how there's these little well, I don't know if I can get the light on here just right, but see how there's these little ledges? See that little ledge right there? Okay, so, and see how there's these little notches? Okay, so remember how I showed you there's these little things that stick out and they have to go in those little, notches right here? Well, for whatever reason, I could get those little things in the notches, but see these ridges right here? That ridge, and there's a ridge on this one as well, one has to go on top of the other, and they just wouldn't fit. No matter what I did, no matter how flat I got this, it wouldn't go in there, and I could not get it on there. I struggled for I don't know how long. I ended up having to remove this panel and this one, which is an L-shaped one, and then put this one and this one together and this one together, because when you connect this to this, it's a really tight fit for whatever reason. I mean, it's tighter than any of the other ones I've ever experienced. And even when you get it on there without it even being attached to the frame, it wouldn't come off. They wouldn't separate from each other. So for whatever reason, it was, maybe there's a little extra bit of metal or something in there. I don't know. But so I had to put this one together, and this one together, and hold all three of them while, I had the whole thing upside down, and then fasten all the screws back on here, which, let me flip this over, and take all these screws and put them all in at the same time. So I had to put like one here at the top, one in this corner, one somewhere in the middle, and just kind of spread them out so I could kind of get at least the whole thing on there. And oh my gosh, I am telling you, I have been cussing for the last 3 hours solid. It's a good thing I didn't record it. But yeah, this has been horrible. And it's not because I changed the way I did this, because this piece would go on normally after you got all of this on. So yeah, I have no idea what was going on. And then when I was trying to get this panel back, trying to hold this one on, these windows kept falling out. So I ended up just super gluing those inside on the back so that they wouldn't fall out. That was the only way to keep them from doing that. But man, that was an absolute nightmare. And then I thought I screwed up because see how that edge is sticking out? And I thought, oh my gosh, did I do something wrong? But no, that's the way it's supposed to go. Whew, man, that was exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. And I hope I never have to go through something like that again. Oh man, that was terrible. These are the parts that we get for stage 45. So we got some more screws right there, some lights, windows, another plastic panel piece. There's that shading that they did on it. Now, I got to talk about some parts here. Well, also, I should mention that we get this really cool PC board. So another one that's going to go in the saucer. There's three pieces I want to discuss. This one here, these that actually go together, these clear ones, and then that red one. So let me bring the nacelle back out. Okay, so back in part 1 or part 2 of this build series is when I was building this nacelle section, and I mentioned in that video that this piece here is actually incorrect. It's supposed to be yellow, and I have never been a fan of the yellow color on the nacelle of the Enterprise D on the filming model. I always thought it looked kind of gaudy and out of place. So I was actually perfectly content with this copper color. I think that's what it should be, is copper, since it kind of mimics that little copper bump that's on the front of the nacelles of the Enterprise refit. And so, yeah, I was happy with this. But apparently some people must have complained to Eaglemoss because they went ahead and sent us this. It's a replacement piece. And I mean, this, look at this thing. It's still the wrong color. How did they get orange? How did they get orange out of yellow? It's supposed to be yellow, not orange. I mean, I don't even know. Once again, I just don't understand a lot of the things that they're doing with this kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repaint this, and I think most people will probably either just leave it this orange color or paint it yellow. Since I can't stand that yellow color, I'm going to go ahead and stick with copper. I'm just going to repaint it this Tamiya XF6 copper. I couldn't find any spray copper at the hobby shop in any brand, so I'm just going to go and use this and hand paint this. And I just think it'll look better. I know it's not accurate, but I don't care. I refuse to put yellow on there. So yeah, we're going to skip that. All right, and then as is typical with this kit, everything that you put together, you end up just taking it apart again. It's so frustrating. So now, of course, I'm going to have to take this entire thing apart. I'm going to have to take all these blue grill pieces off, and I'm going to have to take this skeleton out and then replace that piece because it's underneath a plastic It's like a clear, I guess it's a reflector or something. So I got to take all of that out to put this new piece in after I get it painted. And then the other thing they did is they sent this. Now you'll notice this is a little red. I don't know if I can focus in on it because of the way my camera is adjusted right now. But this is to replace the little blue light that was in here. See how that's blue? And that's incorrect also. When we first got this kit, we were all saying that that's supposed to be red. So I'm going to have to take this apart anyway to get down inside there to get that out of there. I don't even remember how that went in. So I'm going to have to pull the blue one out and put the red one in. And then this is another thing that I just do not understand. So this, it's a two-piece, it's supposed to be like a diffuser for the engine grills right here on the side. So this is, you're going to put this piece inside of this piece. And then like that. I don't want to put it all the way in because I got to work on this. Anyway, but it's going to fit down inside here. And it's supposed to diffuse the light. There's going to be a strip of lights right down here that we're going to put in the next stage. And this is the thing. How do you diffuse a light using a clear piece of plastic? This is clear. It's not going to diffuse the light, even with having this little extra piece in there. This should be frosted. This should be a frosted piece. So I'm going to have to take some really fine grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand this whole thing. And then I'll go ahead and put this in there. I'll leave this clear. If I need to, sand this, I will also. But yeah, this is not going to diffuse. You can't diffuse a light using a clear piece of plastic like this. It's like putting a light bulb behind a window and expecting it to get diffused. I mean, God, I do not understand. It seems like every time I'm just constantly befuddled and aggravated by the choices that are made with this model kit. But so yeah, I am going to sand this down. There's going to be another one for this side I'll have to sand down. And then there's also going to be some clear curved pieces that are going to fit inside this right here and here. And I'm going to have to sand those too, because you'll see that in the next stage. And yeah, same thing, it's clear also. So all these alterations to do on a $2,000 model kit. Isn't that great? All right, well anyway, moving on. Okay, so there we go. Everything is back together now. And so yes, that looks, look at that. That looks so much better, that copper. Oh yeah, that looks 10 times better. Way better than yellow. Still don't know why the model makers decided to go with yellow. And this looks 10 times better than that orange. I don't know why Eagle Moss made it orange. Maybe they were trying to mimic this copper. I don't really know. But yeah, that looks way better. So I put 3 coats of copper paint on here. And now on the bottom, where that lens piece goes in, just in case any light bleeds over into this area from the Bussard collector or the light strip that's going to go in here. I mean, I don't think it will, but just in case, I went ahead and put a piece of black electric tape in there just to black that out. Make sure that it doesn't bleed over in there. And then I did replace that red light. You can just kind of see it in there a little bit. But I am glad that they did replace that, because I think a lot of people were kind of bugged about it here. I'll shine a light through it so you can just see that red in there. I think that light's going to blink. I think there's going to be a blinker in there. So that'll be cool. And then I also did frost this piece. You can see how much better that is. So yeah, this piece is now frosted. I stuck a light behind, behind here. And I don't know if it's going to completely get rid of the hot spots from the light, the light strip that goes in there. But it should help at least diffuse it a little bit. And this piece, I just left it clear. But if I have to, I think it's this flat end. I'm not really sure which end goes in here. I can always sand the edge of it also, but I kind of want some light. I kind of want to leave that clear just to make sure enough light comes through this. But yeah, all right. Anyway, enough of all this alteration. Let's get on with it. Okay, so mercifully now we are moving on. Oh man. So we have to finish up the neck now. I forgot to show you when I put these little covers in right here and here, but it's the same as I did on the other side. So now we have just these last pieces now. This is going to go on. Look at that nice little Enterprise right there. So this is going to go on here, and this is going to finally finish up this detail on the neck. You just got these little pins that fit into the holes. So let me get these lined up. Man, I can't tell you how glad I am to be done working on that part of the saucer. That was just the worst thing. Okay, so now this looks like it just snaps in like this. And, oh, this one popped out. And let me see. Okay. All right, boy, that one doesn't want to stay in, does it? Doesn't really have much of a curve on this plastic. It keeps. I may have to glue that. Yeah, I may put a little glue on there. All right, and then we'll flip it over, and we have the other one right here. So let's see if this one has a little bit more of a curve to it. And let me see. Line up those pins. It's kind of hard to see. Let me start with this end. Well, and then let's drop it. All right, let's try that again. There we go. All right. Okay, so I think this one actually fits better than the other one. I think I will glue this one back here, though, just to be on the safe side. All right, whew, there we go. Now that finally completes this neck. I am so glad to finally at least have one thing done on this thing. Yeah, that's good. That is really, really good. All right, so I'm going to glue this other thing right here. All right, finally, got something done on this thing. Okay, so I went ahead and put this panel together. And they did actually make you put 2 pieces of black tape behind here and here to help block the light since the LEDs are right behind there. And that does help, actually. Wish they'd do that more often with these. Interestingly, they wanted you to block one of these LEDs, too. And one of these clear ones, I should say. And I didn't block it. I wanted it to light up. I think that was just a mistake in the instructions. Here, I'll show you right here. So there's actually a clear one underneath here. And that's clear. So they shouldn't have had you block that clear one right there. Okay, so looking back at the saucer now, this panel is going to go right on this part here. So let me see here. These wires are, let's see, they're going to go over this one, and let me see, is it that right? Okay, yeah, it goes out, just goes through here. All right, so we're just going to do that. And then this is going to fit right in here. So let me get this all secured, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's on. Okay, so another struggle with this, the instructions tell you to bring these wires through this hole, but it actually goes better here because, this thing, it almost has that little gap right there for that to fit in. And this part here was really hard. There's no room underneath here for this wire to fit in here, and so this panel kept sticking up on this corner. So I had to just actually put it right here and bend it like a 90-degree bend in there. And so now it just fits better doing it that way. There is a little bit of a rise on this. You can see how it's not quite even. But that's happened before on some of these other ones. And once you start putting these other panels on, they tend to even out. So, and plus there's going to be a border on here. So yeah, I don't know. Seems like, once again, it's not really well thought out. But nothing new. All right, moving on. Okay, so now we are going to be putting on the new PC board here, the second one. So it tells us to take the jumper out of this board. Take that out of here. And we're going to plug it into the second one, the second PC board. See if I can get a hold of this thing. Jeez. Okay, there we go. Now we got to put it in this lower one. The lower in-out right here. So let's see. Once again, we got to line up the holes here and the pins. So it's going to go like this. I'm not really sure why they're telling you to do this. Well, maybe I guess I understand because they don't want you to pull on the wire. Okay, and then this is going to get attached with 2 FM screws right here and right here. So it's going to go right in this spot. 2 opposite diagonals there. All right, so let me get that attached and we'll see what that looks like. All right, so that's in place now. So now we're going to, we got to get all these wires that are loose. We got all these plugs that are hanging around. So we're going to plug these into this second board here. I'm not going to bore you with all of that while I fight with it. And then also they gave us some of these, where are they? Well, they're around here somewhere. I got some cable ties and we're going to finally tidy up some of these wires. So let me get all that done and we'll see what it looks like when that's all finished. Okay, so there we go. It is all put in place. Everything's plugged in. The only one they didn't want you to plug in is the one that goes to the impulse engine right here. and they said to leave that loose. They they could have just simply called it the impulse engine light, and I think we could have figured it out. Instead, they mentioned that it's from stage 33, so now you got to go back and figure out which one that one is. But anyway, there we go. Everything's plugged in, and everything's tidied up. As you can see, it's looking a lot nicer. Man, I cannot believe how many wires are on this thing. All right, so we finally get to test all the lights. So let me plug the battery into this little in and out one right here, and then I'll flip it over and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, and there it is. Wow, that's looking pretty cool. Glad to see all the lights are lit. Another light leak right there, huh? Jeez. Yeah, very cool. Look at that. I love it. It looks blue on camera, but they have more of a kind of whitish, purplish color to them. But yeah, that looks great. So yeah, I'm going to probably have to put fresh batteries in this thing before I seal it all up, because I don't want to put old batteries in there, having tested so many of these lights. But man, that looks really good. Ah, progress. Finally making some progress. I love it. All right, perfect. These are the parts that we get for stage 46. So there's another panel here. Take a look at the paint job on it. Try to catch it in the light. Some more escape pods, some lights, BP and CP screws, clear windows, black windows, and this is cool. This is that light circuit that's going to go in the nacelle. So that's what's going to light the nacelle up. And so this frosted piece, I already put the insert in there, so that's ready to go. And then let me go ahead and put this panel together and hook up the lights, and I'll show you what that looks like when that's all put together. Okay, so here is that panel all put together now. So let's see, this is going to go on this side now. And, you know, when it comes to which way to put these wires through the frame like this, you almost kind of have to, I don't know, you kind of have to almost do your own thing as far as, you know, how you want to do it. So let's see here. Now, I think they tell you to go over the top here and through this. And we'll see how that works. Sometimes you have to, like I said, do it your own way. But anyway, that's just going to go right in here. And it looks like some more, what kind of screws are we using on this? CPs. All right, so let me get that put on. Okay, so there it is now. I did draw a black stripe in here for the light leak in case there is one with the Sharpie marker once again. This wire here, this yellow and white one right here, you have to kind of tuck it in between those to make sure it gets out of the way. So it's always a little tricky with these wires and where to, you know, where to put all this stuff. But anyway, all right, so now we got to plug that panel in. Okay, I will say it's getting harder to turn this saucer around and lift it around. It's getting harder to grip it. You don't want to grab it, you know, by the ends here, because these are just kind of hanging off. You have to really kind of grab it in one of these structure areas. Now with this PC board in the way, because I used to grab it right here, you can't really do it. So it's getting a little trickier. All right, so that panel that we just did, which is this one right here, we're just going to take this wire, and at least they give you a long enough one here, and then we're just going to plug it into this one right here. So let me match up these holes properly. Just goes right in there. And these ones seem to clip into this second board a little easier. They just kind of snap in place. So there we go. There's still a few empty ones over here. That might be for the bottom half of the saucer. I'm still curious how we're going to connect the bottom half to the top half of this thing. All right, let's see now. Is that everything? Oh, no, we got a little bit of work to do on the nacelle. All right, so now we're going to take this diffuser and we're just going to put it right in this kind of little slot right in here. Okay, I guess it just fits like that. All right, and then we are going to take this circuit now. I took it out of the little plastic, and now we're going to get ready to place that inside. All right, so this circuit is going to go in here now. Where the side that's got where the wires are connected, that is going to go down. So let's put this in here. It's going to screw in. Let me get these wires going this way. don't want to break the solder joints. All right, so this is going to go right in here. I got to line up the screw holes. I'll have to figure that out. Also, this little bulb right here, that's got to go in, actually one of these bulbs here. Let's see, which one should I use? Let's do this one. One of these has got to go underneath here. And let me see if I can grip that with this pair of scissors here. Okay, that's got to come through right here. No easy task. There we are. All right. And then, all right, and then this little bulb here has got to fit in this notch. There's a little notch right here. I don't know if you can kind of see it. But that bulb has got to go in there. And I really don't want to bend that. Okay, so let me fight with that and get it in there, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so that is all in place now. A little bit kind of a long wire for that bulb. So there we go. That's all assembled, and we have this much of the saucer finished now. It's really starting to take shape. Thank goodness. I will be so glad to get this top saucer done. At least the bottom won't have as many windows and lights. But yeah, there we go. That takes care of stages 43, 44, 45, and 46. And man, that section right there, that 3 hours of fighting with that was a killer. I am just absolutely exhausted because of it. And it would have been the same no matter if I did it the other way. But it definitely was easier to not follow the instructions and do that part first. You do want to go ahead and do this part and then come back to that. You'll find that's a whole lot less aggravating than trying to get this panel in here after you've already got those ones on. But yeah, there we go. That's really starting to take shape now. And oh man, this has been crazy. All right, well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like button. And also, don't forget to subscribe. I'd really appreciate that as well. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video, and have a good one.